All right. So, moving on to our next Patreon request of the day, and this one comes from Tom Hibbert, who asked me to do a crossover between Doctor Who and Big O. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests or videos to do here on YouTube once you hit the third tier. But other than that, hope you all enjoy this, and let's get started with the video. So, this story begins with it's set in we begin in Paradigm City, and essentially what's been going on for the past 3 weeks, there's been a series of kidnappings that have basically been, ranging from the highest elite to the lowest homeless person in Paradigm City. And it's really without any rhyme or reason. There's no kidnapping there's no there doesn't seem to be a motive. There doesn't seem to be an opus operandi for the kidnapper or kidnappers, and there really isn't there doesn't really feel like there's a thought process in any of this. This just kind of feels like it's random. However, if there's one thing that Roger Smith has noted, is that nothing is nothing is that simple in Paradigm City. So he and Dorothy are kind of investigating the latest crime scene, which is it was a whole cop car, like a whole squad car that had been called into it was a SWAT team called in to investigate this call of strange arm activity on the far side of town. And now all of them are gone. There's no trace of them anywhere. And it's even as Roger and Dorothy are looking over everything, they're trying to piece it all together. However, amongst the crowd, Roger notices someone in the crowd, two other people who are also trying to get in close to see what's going on. And when they get close enough, it's an older man with a young woman, and he's just I'm Inspector John Smith. Here's my recommendation, my ID and everything. And Roger's just from one Smith to another, that's just a blank piece of paper. I don't know how you got this far from the cops. And he's the guy's oh, you got a strong mind, Clara. Let's go. However, Roger and the police apprehend them, and they're well, we don't know who you are, but Roger basically says, I know every cop in this city, and you, sir, are not one of those cops. So you're going to tell me what's going on, and you're going to have a hand in it. And you're going to explain to me what exactly it is you're doing here, or how you got here. And the guy's but first you're going to tell, Roger basically says, but first you're going to tell me, who you are and what you're doing here. What is your purpose? And the guy says, I'm the doctor, and I am the only person, he's just all handcuffs, I'm the doctor, and I am the only person who can help you, help you stop what's coming. So Roger's well, maybe you can better explain that to me, that kind of ominous threat at the police station when we talk. So the doctor the doctor and Clara are taken to the police station, and Roger and Dorothy each, separately, interrogate the doctor and Clara. But however, Roger has a different approach. Rather than, because he looked the doctor up and down, he's yeah, that guy is not going to talk. There is no way he's going to give us what we want. So here's what we're going to do, Dorothy. You are going to talk. I can see that the doctor really cares about has a company of young women. So Dorothy, you're going to talk to the doctor, and I'm going to talk to Clara. We'll see what their alibi is. So they both switch partners, and Dorothy goes to talk to the doctor, and she's just hello, my name is Dorothy, I'm going to be interrogating you. And he's that'd be really cool if you were, human. And she's you knew I wasn't human? And he goes, oh yeah, I scanned you the moment we got there. In fact, I was a little concerned that you were a sleeper agent for one of my enemies of mine, and it would have made sense for what for what's going on. And Dorothy's like, well, what is going on? And he's like, I'm trying to piece that together as well, but all I can tell you is it's something really not good, so it'd really help if you just kindly undid these, would you kindly undo these handcuffs, and I can tell you everything. They kind of confiscated my sonic screwdriver. Meanwhile, Roger's talking to Clara, and he's just trying to, in typical Roger Smith fashion, he's just trying his best to, like, riz her up. He is, like, being all charming, all charismatic, and being like, you seem like to have a taste for older men. And she's like, the doctor and I are not like that. I'm his companion. And he goes, companion's another word for partner. You want to tell me what that is? And he goes, and she's just like, you can drop the James Bond act there, Bruce Wayne. I am not interested in your crap. So Roger's just like, all right, easy. I'm just trying to be friendly here. My friend Dorothy has probably got your friend the doctor eating out of his hand. And Clara's like, if I know the doctor, he's probably got Dorothy eating out of his. And Roger's like, oh yeah, we'll see about that. But when he goes to check on Dorothy and how her interrogation with the doctor's going, they're gone. Like, they're out of the interrogation room. And Roger's was like, where the hell did she go? And he goes, she said she took the doctor somewhere else to talk to. And he's like, oh, god damn it. So he goes back to Clara, and Clara's just sitting there with like a shit-eating grin, like, she left with the doctor, didn't she? And Roger's like, come on. So Clara and Roger go to look for Dorothy and the doctor. And Dorothy is like talking to the doctor. And obviously you've probably guessed this is 12 by now. And the doctor takes Dorothy to the TARDIS, and he's like, here it comes. Whenever I bring someone new in here, it's always the same thought of, the dimensions of this are unparalleled to the outside. Therefore, there is another dimension within this box. And he goes, pragmatic, but yes. Welcome to the TARDIS, and here is where the magic happens. So, sit back, relax. I'm going to show you what's going on, or what I think is going on. Meanwhile, Roger and Clara are still talking, and Clara basically explains, like, the doctor and I are travelers, you could say, and essentially what we've discovered is that when we came to this city by accident. We were on vacation, and it was meant to be, like, just a fun, like, hey, let's just take a break, and we ended up in your city by accident. But we stayed because the doctor heard about these kidnappings, and he's like, is he behind them? He's like, and Clara's like, no, he wanted to stay because that's who he is. He's despite it all and whatever that grumpy old man says, he is a good man. He's a good man through and through. So, there is that. As the two of them are still looking for the doctor and Dorothy. Meanwhile, the doctor basically explains to Dorothy that, like, we had been following a series of kidnappings and even went down into the sewers to find out what's going on. And what we basically discovered is that it's something else. Like, these humans are being kidnapped for something else. So the doctor and Dorothy go down to the sewers, and at that time, Roger and Clara are doing the same thing. They're also going down there to see what's going on. And sure enough, the two groups re-encounter each other, and that's when they discover who's behind this. It's the Daleks. The Daleks are kidnapping people and genetically morphing them, basically using them like parts to this big machine that they're building alongside Alex Rosewater, the chairman of Paradigm City and Roger's arch nemesis. The Daleks and Rosewater are basically creating a new kind of bio machine out of these body parts and merging it with Dalek tech from the Time War. Like, these are, like, that's when the Doctor realized these aren't just Daleks, they're Daleks veterans from the Time War, like survivors of that somehow survived the Time War. And they're using Time War tech from that era of the Daleks to create a new version of like some of their abominations they created. So so yeah, it's not good, and it's about this time when it's like, what do we do, Doctor? And that's when Roger goes, now it's showtime. That's when he calls Big O. Excuse me. He calls Big O, and they battle the Dalek the Dalek machine, the Dalek bio machine, and Big O and the bio machine go at it, proceed to just tear at each other. But it's very clear that this machine the Daleks have built is more powerful than Big O. So what the Doctor does is literally give time energy from the TARDIS to Big O to just fucking unload everything it has, and destroy this monster. The Daleks are, of course, they were connected to the machine, and they all die, and Rosewater gets away with it scot-free. But by the end of it, Roger thanks the Doctor for his assistance and everything, and the Doctor and Clara, go, head out. But before he does, the Doctor tells Dorothy, if she ever retires or kicks the bucket, I'll call you. You were great. And Roger's just like, fuck you, old man. So there you go, guys. That is Doctor Who, Big O, Doctor Who. I want to thank Tom Hibbert for this Patreon request. And yeah, like I said before, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon. Hit the third tier, and that'll allow you access to do so. I didn't think I'd have it in me to do this one. This one took some mental strength to do. But aside from that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.